G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. Seeing as I'm going to have a bit of a warble about war, might as well wear a battle hat, eh? A proper little coal scuttle of a battle hat. Pity it's made out of fiberglass with ventilation holes, but it gives you a visual image to think about. Funny thing, war. Funny in the sense that the people who study it, eventually some of them, me being one of them, comes to realise that there are repetitive themes, threnodies, which flow through the weft and the warp of the wars of the world. And what tends to happen again and again and again, historically speaking, is that the people who want to practice war as a profession, the warriors, the militarists, they become fixated on whoever it was that won the previous war, the one they look backwards at. And they become obsessed by how big and strong and tough and powerful and irresistible and well supplied with death machines, with flawless logistics, the victor was at the end of the war when the ceasefire was signed and the shooting was stopped. So you look at the Allies at the end of the Second World War, you look at the Entente Cordiale at the end of the First World War. Britain, France, huge armies. America showed up, you know, they had a huge bunch of recruits, didn't actually do that much in the First World War, but holy shit, they armed all of Europe for years beforehand and during it. Second World War, Britain, Soviet Union, the American Empire. They were huge at the end of the war. So everybody who wants to be a militarist and a warriorist, who thinks war's worth doing, they attempt to build a military force with which they can go and attack from a position of strength, because that's what their ancestors did when they were winning the end of the last war. But the fact of the matter is, the countries that win the wars never had a great big huge military with which to launch a war. They were always attacked by some gunned up bully who thought they were going to win. First World War, Germany and the Austro-Hungarian Empire marching to the Papa Band. They lost. Second World War, Japan invades China and Manchuria and tries to start an empire. Germany invades all over the place from a position of strength with elite forces and the best technology they could come up with, and attacking in overwhelming strength at places where their enemy had obsolete equipment and not many military anyway. They didn't bloody win the war though, did they? Who won the Vietnam War? It was not the French. It was not the Americans or the Australians or the New Zealanders. We all got defeated by men in black pyjamas and conical straw hats. We thought we were attacking from a position of irresistible strength. Beating the communists didn't work out that way. How did America go in Iraq and Afghanistan and Iraq again and Absurdistan still? 20 years in Absurdistan. Who won? Not the people with the big battalions and the big aeroplanes and the big guns and the big tanks and the big logistics and the big supply. No. No, it was the people who actually lived there, who were fighting for their homeland. That's who won in the long run. The bullies always do really well at the start of their engagement. So you look specifically at the Hitlerites. The Rhineland, Austria, yeah, there were so many German squeaking ethnic Nazis there that they really did welcome the Germans when they moved in. In Czechoslovakia, once again, the German squeaking ethnic Nazis living in Czechoslovakia were being persecuted and beaten up, and therefore Adolf had to annex Czechoslovakia to save them. Rolled in there with his tanks. Not much actual fighting went on. Little bit. Go and look at some of the YouTube historical channels and you'll see where the little bits of fighting took place. But then suddenly the German squeaking ethnic Nazis living in the Sudetenland and the Danzig corridor, they were being beaten up by the wicked evil Poles. And the German tank divisions, and that they were lined up along the border with Poland. They were feeling threatened by all the cavalry with their swords on the Polish side of the border. So to rescue the German-speaking or squeaking ethnic Nazis living in Poland, Hitler rolled across, took half of Poland in about 18 days. And the USSR took the other half. But then they lost it again 2 years later, but they only lost it temporarily. Who was it who won the Second World War? It was not the giant military might of Nazi Germany. It was not the giant military might of the Japanese Empire. It was all the people that they attacked when they had a couple of guns that didn't work and a whole bunch of people who only signed up for the free beer on a Friday night. So here's my questions. Looking at day 2 or day 3, whatever it is, of the Putinian invasion of Ukraine. 5 years after invading Poland, 6 years after annexing Czechoslovakia, Der Führer had eaten 3 complete carpets and 5 throw rugs in his rage because the world wasn't conforming to his ideological necessity. And then he married his mistress and shot himself. 5 years, 6 years, that's how long it took. My question is this: now that anthropogenic global warming means that General Winter is no longer playing on the side of Mother Russia, will it be 6 years or 6 months before Comrade Colonel President's Prime Minister Premier Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin has gloriously rolled his tanks across 3 borders of his neighbouring country in order to rescue the Russian squeaking ethnic Nazis living in the Donbass? Will it be 6 months? Will it be 6 years? And how many carpets and how many throw rugs will Vladimir Putin eat and chew up and swallow in his rage before he shoots himself? And the final supplementary question is, will Putin marry his mistress, his misbegotten mistress, before he shoots himself, after his whole world disappears up his cloaca and implodes as a result of his failed attempt to bluff NATO into a diplomatic solution, and then he has called his own bluff and actually run his military across the borders, his conscript army? 6 months or 6 years? How many throw rugs? Will he marry his mistress before he shoots himself? These are the questions which occupy my mind as I sit under a gum tree in the rain atop the hill where I am the fool locally. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao. That's how to win a war. Let yourself get attacked and watch your attacker destroy themselves.